Hello everyone. It's been some time since I made a video. It seems like I say that every time. So I guess at least I'm consistent. I do really try to make them more frequently, but I've been busy lately. I don't really have any bad updates, so the good news is that this update should be pretty positive, I hope. First of all, it has come time again for my most recent round of the Rituximab infusions. So just a quick summary, I'm on 2 infusions. The Rituxan or Rituximab, however it's called, is every 6 months, and there are 4 infusions over 4 weeks. And then I also do IVIG every 3 weeks over 2 days. So this time we made it through all 4 infusions. Really didn't have any problems. I might have some photos here. I think I had a few hives the first infusion, and they were kind of like, it was like 2 hives, but they were like moving around my body throughout the infusion. They never really felt super itchy, so we just kind of ignored them. And after that, everything was really smooth. I think the last infusion, when we were finishing up, we noticed there was some flushing on my chest, but it wasn't itchy. And by the time we came home, that was all gone. So, the infusions have gone pretty well. That's been good. And, the fact that I didn't have any painful ankles this time was really nice because the first 2 times, the first time I went to the hospital, the second time we iced it. This time I didn't experience the ankle pain at all. So that was good. As for like updates on improvements, I'm still kind of slowly improving. One of the things that I've noticed is, and I didn't really understand this before, but for a while I couldn't whistle. And I realized that for me, I don't know if this is a general thing, but for me, in order to whistle properly, my throat muscles have to work because they do something where they have to resonate properly with the whistling, otherwise I can't whistle. So for a long time I couldn't whistle, but the last few months I've begun to be able to whistle again. I'm gonna put myself on the spot and see if I can whistle right now. Let's try it. Okay, so I did it. Excellent. Didn't make a fool of myself too much, but yeah, I couldn't whistle before. Like I'd blow, but if my throat wasn't able to make those shapes inside, I couldn't make any notes. So it's nice that, I'm getting stronger with the eating. I really, we keep trying more and more things that have been problems for swallowing before, whether they're powdery things or like chewy things that are difficult to make into mush. And really, we've made it to the only food that we haven't really gone back to trying right now, I guess, would be steak. And I think we're going to try that soon. Or maybe we'll go out somewhere where, I order fish and Stacy orders steak, and then I try to eat some of her food, just not be too aggressive, but really the swallowing has been a lot better. When I go to bed at night, I used to have a cup by the bed so I could spit into it if I had saliva or phlegm or whatever because I couldn't swallow when I was lying down. I would choke if I tried to do that, but for a few months now, I just don't. I don't use a cup at night. We don't even have the table by the bed at sleep when I go to sleep. So I can kind of swallow it. Like if I have saliva or phlegm, I don't really get phlegm either, but if I have saliva, I can kind of swallow it if I try a few times. It doesn't get stuck anywhere. I don't choke. So that's been a lot better. My back muscles have kind of gotten better too. And like, so it used to be that I couldn't really sit up if I bent over from a chair. So like, for example, if I was to lean forward in my chair, like tilt down, and I tried to sit up, I'd be stuck. I couldn't raise my body all the way up. And the only way to sit up would be to fall into the back rest of the chair, and then, my head would be up. But, over the last little while, and I do this intentionally sometimes as exercise now too, I'll lean forward a bit and then I'll straighten up without touching the backrest, and I'll sit up in the shower chair. It's kind of similar, for a while we'd be taking showers and my head would just kind of be hanging like this and I couldn't get it up. Now I'll sit up straight in the shower and you hold it for a while, and those things have been improving, so that's really good. I do have to talk about I guess this is like a survey. I don't know if it's a survey. I guess you guys can share your opinions on which root cause you may think is the reason for this particular behavior. But when I'm in the infusion center for those Rituxim infusions, they take like 6, 7 hours. It depends if we take breaks for hives or not. The shortest time they've ever been was probably 6.5 hours. So while we're there, they have a lot of snacks that they'll give you, like little individual packs of like goldfish or those crackers with cheese in between them. Lance crackers is one of the brands. I think there's just Keebler. But anyway, they'll have different kinds of snacks, right? Or a bag of Gardettos or something, and cookies and things like that. So, I eat the snacks because I am hungry, and that's the food that's there. And one observation or thing that I noticed is that Stacy is there for maybe half the time these days because I'm getting more. It's not so stressful. She doesn't have to worry as much, so she can go do errands and stuff. She doesn't have to stay the whole time. And when she's there with me, I usually, if I'm eating, let's take for example, I eat a bag of goldfish. Uh, Almost every time I will drop one or two, maybe three goldfish on the floor if she's there. If she's not there and I'm eating goldfish, I don't drop any. Now, is the reason that I drop them that I don't care and I'm lazy and I just want her to pick up food when she's there? I personally believe that the reason that I drop goldfish when she's there is because when she's around, I tend to be more aggressive. I try harder with things. There's a buffer for mistakes. And I do feel like when she's not there, there are times where I'm eating the goldfish and I feel like I'm about to drop one because it's about to fall in my mouth or slip out of my finger or something. And I get this extra like sense of panic where I focus really hard and I ensure I don't drop it because she's not there. And then as soon as that happens, for the rest of that bag of goldfish or whatever it is I'm eating, I become more conservative. I'm very careful and I don't want to drop anything. So I personally believe that it's because I'm being more aggressive and trying to do things that are more difficult when she's there. But it is conceivable that when she's there, I just don't try and I make messes. I don't know which it is. You guys are free to chime in on how you perceive my intentions or whatever they would be called in those situations. One of the other things that's been going on in our lives too, it's just a silly story it's probably like a month ago this happened, but my kids, they want to play Minecraft. And I never played Minecraft because I guess it came out when I was older. I don't know, it's just not really a game I ever played. And but I decided, well, I'd like to be a part of my children's gaming life. And I told them they're not allowed to play Minecraft with controllers, like video game controllers. They have to play with a mouse and keyboard because at the very minimum, in my back of my mind, they're going to learn how to type better if they have to play with mouse and keyboard. I also kind of wanted to say that they can't talk to each other, they have to type in the chat, but I really haven't made that rule yet. So anyway, the first time we were playing, it's nice. We set up a private server, we don't have to expose them to everybody on the internet or whatever. We're playing together, and I think I'm getting hungry or something because it's dinner time. I'm like, we gotta stop soon, guys. Like I'm yelling, I'm hungry, I want to eat. So I kind of yell that out. It's kind of like a warning, and I don't know. I didn't really hear what my son was saying because they're in a different room and he's like yelling at me. So then like 2 minutes later, he runs up to my character, and I have a video of it here somewhere. I think we'll post it. And he's like, here, and I'm like, what is this? And it's a piece of like roasted cod. Eat it. I'm like, okay. So I'm chomping on this thing, and we're both eating it. Like crumbs are flying everywhere. And he's like, yeah. So you said you're hungry. I'm like, no, I was hungry in real life. Like, well, yeah, it was just, I don't know. Afterwards, when I realized what he was doing, he was feeding me because he thought I said I was hungry in the video game. Anyway, maybe it's not as funny now that I'm telling it, but it was funny to me. I thought I would share it. So anyway, that's a little Minecraft side story. So some of the other things, updates on things that have been going well. I've been doing cycling now on those pedals that I used for my hands before. And I'm seeing very slow improvement, but it's going there. When I first started, I couldn't get my legs onto the pedals. It was hard. And I kind of pedaled like 15 cycles, and I was like, oh, I'm tired, and my legs would fall sideways and stuff. I didn't feel like I had good control. So now I'm up to like the last time I did it, I was at 125 cycles in one set. And they're more smooth. They don't I wouldn't get stuck and unable to finish a pedal, things like that. So that's been good. We're trying still to get me to stand and lift. We're getting better at supporting my weight, mostly just on my left leg, but I haven't quite been able to balance yet. So that's something that we're still, Stacey and I work on whenever we find time and can get the lift all set up. I've noticed too that the outside wheelchair, I talked before about how, for the first time I finally locked the brakes because those brakes are much harder to lock. I'm getting much better at locking those brakes. It doesn't take, it's not like scary and really, really hard. It's now just quite difficult. It's kind of how I would categorize it. So, those things have been good. And I guess just to finish, I'm going to share the clinical note from my doctor. Well, not sure that I'll read part of it. So when I was doing the infusions, at the Rituximab infusions, the nurses were telling me that they read my doctor's notes, and that they were encouraged by them, and they were saying, "Oh, he said good things." So I was like, "Oh, I haven't read those notes yet." So I went, we have online portals, and I'm reading the notes. I'm gonna read one of the sentences from my doctor's note that I think is pretty encouraging. So this was we had an appointment at the end of June, and this was his top note. So he says my age. Skip that part. He says finally. Okay, so I'm quoting now here, direct quotes. Finally, surprisingly, and amazingly, the patient is actually starting to make some strides. He has less dysphagia, aspiration, better head control, greater anti-gravity strength when he uses both hands together. Trunk strength is improving. Conversational dyspnea is markedly improved. I think it's pronounced dyspnea. I guess it's like slurring. There was a time when I slurred. So that that was it's a pretty encouraging note. Like he says, surprisingly and amazingly. Oh, and there's one other thing I almost forgot. The one big thing for me personally about improvements that I've seen have to do with my heart rate. So for a long time when I was sick, into I guess the end of last year, every time I would go for a medical appointment or during infusions when they took my heart rate or blood pressure, my pulse was always like 89, 90, 91, and this was at rest. And I was starting to think maybe my heart is having problems, because you can't really feel if your heart's working, especially if you don't run and stuff. You wouldn't really know that you're having heart problems. But my whole life, my resting heart rate's been in the low 70s. I want to be in the 60s. I want to be like a professional athlete, whatever. So 89, 90 is didn't feel comfortable. But lately, the last few months, my heart rates are back down to those 71, 72. We do the infusions, we go see the doctor. My pulse is in the low 70s. And so I'm really encouraged that there's strength, or I don't know what you call that, improvement. I feel like that's a really good thing. And so, yeah, that's the part of my physical improvements that have been the most encouraging to me personally. And the one last note that's just kind of a silly note is that most of the videos that I make, they're like one take. I take one take and then I'm like, oh, that's good enough. And then I, edit it, post it. It's a lot of cuts and stuff. So this video has 2 takes. And the reason is quite silly. It's that I finished the first take and I was going to edit it. And then I noticed when I was looking at the video that there was a very distracting part of the video. The camera angle was not ideal. It was slightly below. And, I'll show a little clip of it here, but I feel that if I had posted the video from the first take, people watching the video would have been distracted because there was a distraction in the video that was very distracting. And so I had to retake the video so that there wouldn't be a distraction that was very distractionary. And yes. So thank you all for watching. I hope this video was entertaining, informative, and I will try, as I say every time, to make a video sooner rather than later. Thanks all for watching. Okay, bye.